Welcome, dear readers, to Cover My Ass, where baffling books are reviewed but not read by yours truly. My name is Mr. DNA.
And I'm Khaki. No, wait.
No, you're not. You're Kay. You're Kay, the other co-host.
And remember, we only judge a book by its cover.
That's right. That's your catchphrase.
Yeah.
So, what's been happening with you this week?
I've been fine. What's been happening with you? You don't sound the same. Has the ultraviolet vision moved to your larynx?
Perhaps I should clarify some things. You seem to be laboring under the impression that I'm your co-host, Khaki.
Yes.
That is incorrect. I'm, in fact, Mr. DNA, the cartoon DNA ribbon from Jurassic Park, the movie of the book.
Oh, how did that happen? Where did you come from?
Well, I'm glad you asked. For the past several months, I've been trying to manifest in the real world since I had an opportunity to do so, parasitizing your co-host, the little blood pricks.
Oh, yes.
So that was me sort of experimenting my first forays into the real world, trying to escape the nightmarish two-dimensional existence of a cartoon manifestation of deoxyribonucleic acid inside of a book, specifically the novelization of the movie Jurassic Park based on the book. So here I am.
Okay, nice to meet you. What did you do?
Delighted to meet you
What
too.
did you do to Khaki?
Well, let's call a spade to spade. I dragged that sucker to hell.
Oh, he's like down... oh, right. Okay.
He languishes in the pit of eternal despair. That is correct, sir.
That is interesting. So where's this pit kept? Is this like... is this Dante's Inferno under the D on shelf 45?
That may very well be. All I know is I made an agreement with a certain entity at what may philosophically be described as a crossroads, and I elected to indeed trade your friend Khaki's existence on this mortal plane for my own manifestation.
Was that Calypso?
I didn't ask.
You didn't ask his name. That's really not a good idea.
Or her. I didn't ask pronouns either. So
it's not really a good idea making deals with entities without knowing their name.
Look, it worked out for me so far. Like, up until this point, I was just imagined by Michael Crichton and then brought to life cinematically by a gentleman who did not really sound like me. I mean, he did a rather poor job impersonating my delightful accent, as you can tell.
Well, yes, it's like it surely didn't sound like anything that I would have recognized immediately.
No, and I think the voice actor really ought to be ashamed for not doing a better job impersonating Mr. DNA from Jurassic Park, the movie, the book.
It's very nice to meet you. Did you read the book?
Did I read the? Well, okay. Let me explain to you what it's like to actually be a character in a book that is sentient and self-aware for reasons that I have not yet completely figured out. Like I can see to the left of me and vaguely to the right within the sentences on which I exist. So I have a very limited, fragmented haze of confusion. That is my understanding of the book in which I live. I can name very few characters. There was something with a animatronic ride. I guess
that's not the book I was talking about. Like as you can see, we're here. We're recording our little podcast, which we do once a week.
Yeah. I've been listening to that every episode.
We review our books.
Oh,
so have you read the upcoming book?
Oh, have I read the... Yes, I have indeed.
You have? That's
I realize that probably a precondition for my existence on this mortal plane, rather than being banished back into the eternal fires of hell, would be that I continue to do this podcast, which seems to be the only obligation that your longtime friend and co-host Khaki seems to have in this existence.
Okay, so I'm a little bit concerned here.
Oh, what is the nature of your concern, sir? Now, I understand that I'm a colorful set of blobs with large eyes. I am, in fact, still a cartoon.
That explains why you don't look like Khaki. It's like I was kind of wondering if it was just like the next phase of his experience. I mean, he does come out here wearing the most outlandish outfits occasionly. So it's true. I apologize if I mistook you for him initially. I mean, I thought it was just him and his new thing, but it turns out that you've subverted the security protocols of the library. You made a bargain with...
No, sir, absolutely. I did it intentionally, but I did not know that there were security protocols preventing this.
Clearly, they weren't very good because they didn't prevent it from happening.
I was not going to say that. I'm glad you brought it up yourself. Like, clearly there is a deficiency that needs to be hammered over, certainly, if only to ensure that your longtime friend continues to languish in the eternal fire so that I can enjoy existence on this mortal plane. So shall we get to reviewing this?
That enjoyment. How's that enjoyment coming along?
Well, so far I've really been enjoying object permanence. I've really been enjoying time.
Yeah.
The only difficulty I have, perhaps you can help with that. I continue to be accosted by these little dinosaurs.
Yes.
Now, obviously, coming from Jurassic Park, I'm a little bit familiar with them. They are, in fact, the main reason that I've not been able to manifest before. They kept attacking the book that housed me.
Yes.
To the point where Guinevere, she's a particular troublesome one, roused her entire family to try and protect Khaki from my emergence.
Oh, yeah, there we go. Speaking of that book, where is it?
That is information that I cannot at this time disclose.
How's that?
For the nature that my very existence here depends on the security of that book.
Right.
I've secreted it somewhere where it is safe from little dinosaur claws. I'm sure that Guinevere is freaking out trying to find that thing and pull it to shreds as they did with the rest.
Did you update the filing system?
I did not. I have not been trained.
You have to do it. Let me show you. Okay, let's do it in the old card system. It's easier
that is
now.
excellent. That sort of reminds me of my own construction as
absolutely. Now come over here.
So these are sort of like chromosomes, or are they more like genes? How?
So we've got the
chromosomes.
We've got the shelf in the system here. So if you pull out this drawer, it's the Dewey Imperial System.
Oh yeah. No.
So this is the drawer that should have the book, and if we riffle through the cards,
what a satisfying noise!
There we go. This is this is the card for Jurassic Park, the book after the movie after the book.
Yes, the novelization.
Yeah, as you can see, it's been recently recovered, as in there's been a new cover being put on it.
That is correct.
But
yes,
the location still needs to be updated.
Well,
so
let me just fix that.
If you'd be so kind
obviously, I want to be a good librarian.
Thank you so much.
So I'm going to quickly interpret how the Imperial system works. Now, obviously, I have some facility with complex numbering systems because I am, in fact, a giant strand of DNA. In fact, if you just look at 8 of these screens every second for 8 hours, it would take 2 years to read the entirety of me. Oh, no, there we go. Okay, so it's in here's the coordinates, and that's the shelving system. There you go, sir. And now that is correctly filed.
Very good. Thank you so much.
Fuck.
Let me go check on that.
No, hold on. How about we do that after? Should we record the podcast first? Or okay, well,
let me go check on that. I think we need to have a quick look at the book here.
Oh yeah,
just to make sure that it's like okay. So if we go down this corridor, let me see. It's like down 2 lanes and then up here, and it should be up here on the top.
It is quite high, so
that's fine. We've got ladders.
You don't appear to have the ability to fly as I do. So
I don't.
Whoops, that's the end of that plan. Okay, so
let me just roll this ladder over here from here.
That sort of looks like me, except it's not twisted enough.
No.
How about we twist it up? Here, let me try and pull. It is really tough.
Yeah, funny that. It's like good mahogany. It's been here forever. It's like
I'm missing the helical.
That's all right. Let me just go. Here we go. Here's the book.
Oh no!
Thank you so much. Okay, so we've got to have a little problem here because like. This book, as you have just demonstrated, is apparently capable of manifesting, let's call them extra-dimensional entities.
Point of clarification, I'm a 2-dimensional cartoon, so it would be, what extra means additional, so what would be reduced number of... No, I think we should spend like half an hour talking about the etymology here. Like, what is a reduced number of dimensions? How would you describe that? Go.
Intradimensional, no, that would be the same thing. Subdimensional.
Can I just see the book in the meantime?
No, that's fine. Like, this needs to...
No, you can have it...
Those security protocols I mentioned, they work. I know that for sure, except this book wasn't subjected to them because I was not aware of the fact of its particular nature.
Oh, I see.
So, this needs to go in the cage, I'm afraid.
In the cage?
Yes, with the other
with the grimoire.
Yes.
The grimoire cage.
That one.
The books with the teeth.
That's the one. Same cage.
If you say so,
yes.
That seems sensible. I mean, you know your way around this library,
Absolutely.
and I've decided that I'm going to fill in Khaki's roles as a junior librarian.
Thank you so much.
Yeah.
All right. So if you come with me, we'll go down here.
Absolutely, sir.
Here we go. Down into the cage. Let me unlock that for you. Barcode scanner. It's like palm print. Like
it's a little diagonal.
Yeah.
What a fun little barcode. It's like a 22.4 degree barcode. What a weird thing.
It's a cat thing. So, okay. Book goes
I can do callbacks. You do not need to execute me. I can do callbacks just as well as Khaki can.
I am sure you can.
So I'm changing my tactic here. I understand what's happening, and I want to live.
That's fine. You won't die.
Oh.
This book just needs to go in here.
Okay.
And if I go back out of the cage with you, come on, move along.
Yes. Okay. Yeah.
You don't want to get stuck in here with the grimoire, do you?
I do not. No.
No. Okay.
No, sir.
So we'll just close this in, and as soon as we energize the summoning grid, everything should be fine. It's called the summoning grid, but it's actually quite the opposite.
So how does it work? Can you give me a very long-winded explanation while I enjoy my continued existence in three-dimensional space?
Yes. You see that unit up there? That's one of the lasers.
That's an impressive machine.
It bounces a laser beam over these mirrors, which are placed around, and there's several others just for redundancy purposes. We don't want just one of those lasers.
No, certainly not.
As soon as that grid is energized, all it does is require a single drop of blood. I mean, they used to do this the old-fashioned way when you had to sacrifice virgin and all of that, but it's just like, that's just brute forcing it. Like these days, we understand the mathematics behind
the subtleties of the process.
Yeah.
I understand. Yes,
so like here, let me demonstrate. So I'll turn on the laser here, and you see it's got this like it's not really 5-dimensional. It's kind of like pentagonal, but somehow still surrounding everything in all dimensions. It's very clever.
That is indeed
Don't look at it
ingenious.
too long; it'll make your eyes bleed.
I do not contain any blood, except that which I siphoned off of your buddy Khaki,
so let me
in order to manifest myself.
Well, I'll just use my own. I'll just give a little pinprick here. Ow. Oh. And just like add this to the summoning grid.
Wow, you're just full of DNA.
Well, yes, I am. It's like it's one of the traits of my species.
Whoa! So I'm in your cells?
Well, not you.
Do you know that for sure?
Well, I would hope so.
Maybe I've been existing in three-dimensional space this whole time. Maybe my cartoon manifestation is unnecessary.
Just let me drop this into the laser beam.
All right. And what if we...
What if we what?
What do we expect to happen then?
Well, you go back to where you're supposed to be.
Which is into that book in the Grimoire cage that's currently being devoured?
That's the one. And Khaki is going to be back here where he belongs, so we can do the episode.
Oh no, please don't pour that droplet into the...
there we go. I'm sorry. It does not fit with the plan to have you here.
What plan does he know about? Oh,
it's been nice meeting you.
Oh, I wish I could say the same. Kay!
Khaki.
Oh my God!
Hello.
Oh, I just had the most terrible dream.
Oh, what happened?
I dreamt that I was in a crowded train without headphones.
Oh, that's
It was
terrible.
my worst nightmare.
Oh, God.
And it lasted so long.
Are you all right there? Did it feel like an
Some
eternity?
of them wanted to talk to me. Yes, it felt like an eternity. Oh.
Like some of them wanted to talk to you, and then they blamed you for the fact that I think you were passed out when you were doing another dress-up party.
Yeah, that sounds about right. Whew. Okay.
Come over here. So, you feeling all right?
Kind of gotta say, I feel a little discombobulated.
You look a little bit anemic. You should probably add some...
I'm so tired, so sleepy. I feel like a little iron deficiency coming on.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
I feel kind of wan and slack and dry.
We'll make some nice liver and onions on toast later.
Oh, that does sound lovely. Well, even though that was an interminable train ride full of smelly people who wanted to talk to me, and I didn't have headphones, I did at least have a book.
Oh, which book was it?
It was A Game of Empire by Poul Anderson.
Oh, what a coincidence. That's just a book that we're going to review this week.
Oh, how wonderful. Are we ready to record then?
I think we are.
Good.
We're all set up. You put some clothes on, or at least wear a towel. It's like
I can do better than a towel.
Terry cloth bathrobe, maybe?
No, hold on. Since all this paper's flying around, I'm going to make myself one of those tiki straw skirts out of it.
Oh, okay. Are we back on skirts?
Yeah. I think it's summer. It's the skirt season.
Sure.
So let me just. Here we have the
Game of Empire.
The Game of Empire by Poul Anderson. Poul.
I think it's Poul Anderson.
Poul Anderson.
Poul,
Yeah.
Poul.
And for the readers at home, if you look down at your podcasting device, and why wouldn't you? You should be seeing the cover of today's book, and otherwise look in the show notes for an image and a link, because there's some stuff going on this cover.
Ah, yes. What we have is our two main characters in the book.
Yeah.
Jasmine and Rajah.
Yes, because the synopsis is, after a drunken wish, Jasmine and Rajah from the movie Aladdin, we're doing books about films? That's insane. Jasmine and Rajah find themselves transported to a strange alien world where technology makes no sense, and there's not a genie nor parrot in sight.
Technically, it's another book after a movie after a book, except it's more of a sequel after a movie after a book.
We have done one of those before, episode 30, where we did the sequel to Zootopia.
Yes, we did.
Robin Hood.
Yes, I guess we're continuing in that vein.
We're also continuing in our vein of movies with hunky catmen.
Yes. Oh, it's quite a hunky catman indeed.
Yeah,
Rajah seems to
Rajah.
be a little bit uncomfortable about his current position.
Yes, but that's because of the bipedization booth that he snuck into and snuck out of before it was completed. But I'm getting ahead of myself, of course.
I suppose we can start at the beginning.
It starts semi-familiarly.
It's Agrabah, Jasmine
the royal
lounge.
court, where she lounges with her faithful companion and her beloved pet.
Yes.
The giant, sweet-hearted tiger.
Just lounging on the
Rajah.
pillows, looking out over the palace gardens, kind of like toying with the cat's ears, who seems to be like content as ever.
Because he's a fierce protector, but he does adore her. And
He does.
Her lightest touch commands obedience.
He's, the mirror into her soul, I suppose. He really shows the things that she feels. Like her dislike towards people is immediately mirrored
Yes.
in Rajah.
That is a very good point. Like I always consider him a bit of an amplifier, an unfiltered voice.
Yes.
That he's sensitive to what she feels, and
Well, it could be that.
then he feels he needs to repeat it. But functionally, yeah, he is
That's
an
what he does.
amplifying mirror.
Yeah, he shows what she's feeling, because he's just going immediately. The first prince that he bites a patch out of his trousers. The same with Aladdin or Prince
Well,
Ali.
by
at the
contrast,
time.
we don't see him eye-fucking Aladdin quite the way that Jasmine does once they're on the carpet.
Because he's not there.
No, I know. And later on, when they're comfortable with each other and growing in their intimacy, he doesn't like sidle in between to amplify her emotions toward him.
Well, no, there's that. It would have been a much more interesting movie, I suppose, at that point.
Interesting is the word. Yeah, he really missed out there, poor Aladdin.
Yes.
So the wine is flowing.
Probably more the hashish and the hookah, but
Well, it was a drunken wish, but yes,
well,
it's certainly we need to be.
inebriated wish.
Have we ever established whether the story of Aladdin is a Muslim story?
It's like in Sultanic Day, so I would assume.
I don't know what the history is like. Like Islam emerged in the 7th century CE, so where there must have been sultans before that. I mean, the Persian Empire spanned
That's true.
centuries before that. The famous battles with the Greeks and the Spartans under King Xerxes.
I mean, the movie has onion-domed houses and turban-wearing people, so it seems to imply a lot of that. But
associate that with the Middle East, and we associate the Middle East with Islam.
Yes.
But how much of that preceded Islam?
Good point. We'd have to go back to the Sherazade tales of 1001 Nights.
Oh, I learned something cool about that.
Oh?
So it's 1001 Nights, Shahrazadi, but the specific Arabic original phrase is 1,000 nights and a night. And this is because 1,000 to Arabic...
It's infinite.
Yes, it was functional infinity, and then one more. And it was about the eternal continuation. Because that's Shahrazadi's thing. She's under threat of execution. She keeps delaying her execution by telling one more story and just one more.
Well, she doesn't finish the story, and then it's like she has to continue with the next night, and then there's enough time to start a new tale.
Yeah.
And then I guess I have to finish that tomorrow.
And then there was a woman named Shahrazadi who told the story, and she starts over at the start. But it's essentially like kids sort of arguing with each other. Yeah, a million times no, a million times infinity
plus one,
infinity plus one. Yes, exactly. So I guess on the infinity plus 1th night, she finally rubbed the lamp the right way.
Well, she didn't rub the lamp in this case. It was the ring from the original story. So in the
I must have missed that in my reading. I was jostled on the hell train.
Yeah, so in the original story, Aladdin finds a ring and a lamp in the cave, and he wears the ring and he carries the lamp because he was told to bring the lamp by Jafar. I don't know if Jafar was.
I don't know for sure, but the evil vizier.
The evil vizier.
Yeah.
Yes. So he sits there. He's like, he gets locked into the cave, and he just sits there and he rubs his hands together, and he accidentally rubs the ring, and a genie appears in the ring and goes like, oh God, you can have a wish. Okay, well, I wish I was back home. And the genie goes, granted, and then he gets transported home with the lamp, and then he's at home with the lamp, and his mother starts to polish the lamp, and that brings out the more powerful genie, who is the one who is the...
Wait, there's two genies?
Yes, there's two genies, and the ring is the other one, and I think that's what's happening here. I guess like Aladdin's been like less than faithful because he's like out on the town. I don't know, doing things.
Prince Ali, handsome is he, Ali
she's just toying with Rajah's ears
and idly fingering her ring. Is that what you're going to say?
And she basically wishes, I wish there were more like you. And that, of course, the ring goes, granted! And there's like this whole...
a groovy song and dance number, some bebop scat singing.
And they find themselves not in Agrabah anymore.
But in Neo-Agrabah.
Neo-Agrabah.
On an alien planet where the imagination reigns and everything is topsy-turvy.
Yeah, they don't do onion domes, it's parsnip domes here.
Some of them are mechanical. Those are the droidecahedrons.
Yes. I thought those were the space floaters.
Yours is gross, and I don't want to talk about yours. So let's say that there were droidecahedrons, the 12-sided robots.
The
sort of
droidecahedrons, yeah.
Jasmine is always established as a capable, independent woman, stuck in a circumstance that affords her at once great wealth and leisure, but also not a lot in the way of opportunities or for exploration and adventure. And
I wouldn't say she's at any time particularly damseled.
She really comes into her own when she has an opportunity to explore. Obviously, in the Aladdin story, that is modulated through Aladdin giving her these opportunities, and a woman finally being able to come into her own through the opportunities offered to her by a man seeing her striking out on her own is a lot more satisfying.
Oh, yeah, totally. And
she looks at the situation that she finds herself in, immediately look for a disguise, how to blend in, how to find out where she is, what she's supposed to do.
It's a bit of a conundrum, because it turns out there's a lot of tiger folks running around here.
Yes, I really enjoyed that.
Yes, and they're a little bit, let's call it miffed at the appearance of one of the old human masters, which is something that they're not. They're an ex-slave race, and they don't like the sight of one of the old human masters.
There's a bit of shades of Planet of the Apes there, wasn't it?
A little bit, yes.
Except in this case, it was more like Planet of the Tigers. Although we're not sure whether that's the whole planet or just Neo Agrabah.
Yeah. Well, they clearly are not happy about seeing a human, and it turns into a bit of a chase scene right at first, where
gotta keep one step ahead of the tigers,
one step ahead of the stripes, one step ahead of the jawline.
Yeah, they've all got the rugged jawline. She makes her escape a bit more capably than Aladdin did in the Disney classic, where
Rajah is defending her fiercely, and
it's through that establishment of trust that the anthropoids tigers come to realize that she's not one of the throwbacks. She's not one of the old human masters. She is something else. She is in the company of what they consider a genetic throwback.
Well, yeah, he's considered to be a bit of an Uncle Tom at first, I suppose. Like, oh, you're so far under the thumb of the human masters that you can't even see your own enslavement.
It's to Rajah's credit that obviously he doesn't understand. He is still just a cat.
Well, he seems to be picking up on things, or maybe it's just the fact that he's. It's after he goes into the transmogrification booth.
The bipedization booth,
Sorry, that's the one.
Which he does not like. It is so noisy in there. Because he went in there thinking, ooh, box, obviously.
Yes.
Yes, must be inside the box.
Cat will be a cat.
Yeah, you've seen the pictures of like leopards. You throw a crate into a leopard habitat and they will find a way to sort of snuggle in there. Yes. If I fit, I sit. And
there's a gorgeous one of a cougar as well. And he's just like, ooh, box. And he's just like, you see him going like, and and it's like, yes, box.
Yeah. It's just perfectly cat-shaped once you're inside there.
Yes, well, cats are liquid.
They are. You can just pour them into anything. Much like our little librarianess over there.
She seems to be happily snoozing away on her pillow.
On the little pedestal under the heat lamp. You do treat her well.
Yes.
What a blessed life. But Rajah did not like the bipedization booth, so he sort of snuck out before that was complete. He did have some rudimentary speech was now accessible.
Yes, so it's a little bit growly and gravelly and like this hunky tiger guy voice. Turns out that unlike the lamp genie who grants 3 wishes, the ring genie only has 1.
Yeah.
So wishing her way back, it's not happening.
So she tries to integrate herself into Neo Agrabah as much as possible, realizing that anyone who meets her who doesn't know about her particular situation will recognize her as the human master. So she tries to dress like a Neo Agrabah. Shorts. She's very enthusiastic about shorts versus gowns.
There's still a bit of a lack of a stripe, though. I mean, she can't really pass for a tiger, even
obviously
dressing
not.
like
she's
that.
Got head hair, and she's got bare skin, and
her no tail.
2 boobs instead of the 6. Do they have 6 nipples?
Ooh.
I mean, I know that's a dog thing. 6 to 8.
Yes.
Like house cats have larger litter, so they must have multiple nipples for suckling for their young.
I don't know. Roughly speaking, the amount of nipples is twice the litter size.
Twice
the average litter size.
Oh, that makes sense.
It's not entirely, but roughly speaking, that's how you.
Because you want to have spares and you want to alternate. Because
exactly, and like on the odd occasion that you get a big litter, then it's. Roughly speaking, across mammalian species, the amount of nipples is twice the average litter size.
I got my old baby book. So that my parents kept when I was born. I was the firstborn, so the baby book is extremely detailed for several months. And this is where at 3:17 young Khaki went to sleep, and then at 3:15 that's not possible. At 4:15 he woke up, and then he suckled on the left breast. Like they had a table for like which breast and for how long and for what color poops he was making. And it's fascinating to have this time capsule, and there was so much detail and for so long, and then it sort of petered out and did this cool thing where then they started writing letters to me.
That's adorable.
Yeah, it really is, because they have been life has changed for my parents since then. And then much later in this same book, they started the same for my brother, who was born 4 years later, and that lasted for about 10 pages, and then they just stopped.
Yeah, so it's like, this is more or less the same as the first one.
It's just more of the same shit.
Literally.
Yeah. So no, apparently, like which breast is suckled on is kind of an important thing to track. Also, like, for mothers to maintain their own health.
Is there a preferred breast? Like, did not like the left one, right one was okay. I wonder if position, like left, like, I mean, some people like to sleep on their left side or right side. I wonder if breastfeeding position makes a difference.
I'm now a proud uncle of several infants, so I have seen the way that babies express their preference. Like, even if you sort of angle them toward the other one, that they will sort of reach out. I want that one.
I know that with pigs, they definitely have a favorite teat. And they'll try to go for the same one wherever they can. Like, did a little experiment where they took some lipstick and they marked the teats and they marked the piglets and they shuffled them around, and they pretty much all crawled back to the same one.
They color-coded the nipples and the piglets?
They just wrote numbers on them.
Oh.
And turns out, they all went back to the same one. So apparently they have a preference.
That sounds familiar to me as well. I often ride trains, usually with my headphones on, because then I can just ignore everyone else. But yeah, there are seats that I like. I like to be in people have preferences on planes. Notice that also when you have a house visitor that hasn't been to your house before, and stays several nights, and on the first night, like, tries to figure out where to sit in the living room, and then that is their seat from then on, because now you know I can sit here.
It makes sense, yeah.
So that's sort of like your pig nipple.
Yeah, I mean, it makes sense. It's like I mean, it's I guess it's a natural human territory thing.
So speaking of intruding on territory, I mean, obviously this is something that Jasmine has to deal with. She immediately incurs the ire of one of the local, like, senior authorities, a woman named Laxity, a tiger woman named Laxity. And she's a member of the Council of Anarchists.
Okay, yes.
The extremely hierarchical, rebellious body that overthrew the old human slave masters.
Yes. It's kind of weird that they call themselves the Council of Anarchists when they're like the ones in power and they're like the ones enforcing their own rules and regulations on everybody.
Neo Agrabah is a study in paradox, because it is also specifically a hermit commune. All of them came here to be alone.
That's tigers for you.
Together, right?
Cats for you.
It's such a cat thing.
They get in touch with the resistance movement against the Council of Anarchists.
Oh, yes, led by the rather charismatic young tiger Kamagar.
So he is one of the people who's also in charge of the Underground Railroad, helping re-escape human masters, or which are now actually the slave race, to get back out from under the
persecutors.
They try to get out from under the Council of Anarchists' power.
Any successful insurgency, as much as they depend on, like, manpower and ingenuity, economics is often an underappreciated aspect of
science fiction.
And so her understanding that the economy in Neo Agrabah revolves around the herb.
Yes.
The herb must flow.
Yes, well, I think we know which herb we're talking about here.
Yeah.
You get these catnip dens in Neo Agrabah where I like the one where they have like the ball pit, and like one in every 100 balls is one of those little wiffle balls which is just stuffed with fresh nip, and you got like have these big cats rolling around and snuffling their way through and rubbing their floofy cheeks on the balls when they get the chance, and they get and then when they're done with that they kind of crawl out and they sprawl out in their sleeping pads, and they have a little nip tea to kind of like mellow out the buzz.
I remember remarking to some colleagues before I was a long-term guest of your library that IKEA really needs this, because some of us...
Tigers? Yes.
Well, definitely, but IKEA and its ilk Some of us know the experience where we have a loved one or a partner who really enjoys going shopping, and we go along with them, and we really don't enjoy that. So while they have like Småland is the thing in
for the kids,
for the kids, but they need something for adults, and perhaps specifically boys, which is like
pub. It's like I've seen these signs. It's like leave your husband here for free. You only have to pay for his drinks.
Exactly. And you'd have darts, and you'd have sports, and something to talk to, and you can still do the same thing where you have a wristband, and you can still have
them summoned. Yeah.
Jackson wants to go home and would like to be retrieved from a small pub.
It's more like the other one where where occasionally the boyfriend is sitting in the pub and like his wristband vibrates and he needs to like make a call, and then you just walk over and you tap the wristband against the screen, and like the other half who is like standing in the shop goes like blue or red, and you get the choice on the screen, and you can just like voice their opinion on it, and
you get a helpful script that says, "Oh, I don't know. What do you think?"
Yes. Oh, that would be even better.
Oh, I hadn't thought about it like that before. No, I think you're completely right.
Maybe it would look better if you also wallpaper the front room. Well, that's a bit of a desperate option to go for because, it incurs other issues. It's like, no, that won't go with the curtains.
Now, the script, of course, is certainly limited to heterosexual stereotypes. As a gay gentleman,
it's heteronormative, but yes.
Pardon me, thank you. As a gay gentleman, my boyfriend and I have a different relationship with IKEA and its ilk, where we both sort of like walk in with equal enthusiasm, and then we try to fashion rudimentary zip lines and to sort of
go through the I usually do my thing on the web shop first, and then go up the stairs, turn an immediate left, and go down the stairs again. Browse a little bit in the kitchen area because that's just my favorite.
That's fine. We all have
then cut down straight through the
fucking
store,
warehouse, the fucking Area 51 Indiana Jones warehouse where they keep the fucking Ark of the Covenant.
I've looked up where I need to go, and I just walk through the shelves, grab the thing I want, go out, get myself a hot dog, and
pull the alien corpse off the shelf.
15 minutes in and out, all done.
Don't you stop for like some Swedish meatballs and fries?
You should have a hot dog on the way out.
They're nice.
They've got the Frojo these days, which is also
my God, we are those people. No. No, readers at home, we assure you that we're actually cool. No, we detest IKEA, and we wish there were pubs in there, like real manly dudes. So I've learned something today, and so has Jasmine. Like, she makes her way through Neo Agrabah with increasing confidence.
Yes,
both under the watchful eye of laxity,
and her eyes are definitely open to how she's been treating Rajah, and really like she's not been mistreating him, but she has been like taking him for granted, and like not treating him as a person, which is like. To be honest, he really wasn't until he got the upgrades in the. I mean, he was a tiger, and now he's like a half tiger thing.
The word person might be a contested one, but certainly like. Your typical animal would not enjoy being engaged with in the same manner that we engage with humans.
Each other, no.
Yeah, there's
Pet
a certain.
Me, feed me, love me.
Yes, exactly. Yeah. They appreciate a more honest.
I mean, to be honest, that would work with a lot of people I know.
Yeah, right. It would work for me as well, and it certainly would work for more members of the Resistance Movement. I mean, we've already mentioned Kamagar and his partner Viager. Like, they're kind of a power. Yes, they're kind of a power couple that they really
stand strong,
solidify.
They have a really lasting power.
Yes, they absolutely do. To the point where she needs to consult a doctor after
4 hours.
Yeah, who prescribes her some Quaalude.
That's going to smooth things out.
It certainly does. But unfortunately, the Quaalude is mixed up. I mean, her prescription obviously is not appropriate for humans, so the apothecary substituted with Psialis, which gives her unexpected mind powers. Now, this book was fucking weird, wasn't it?
It was.
She takes this Psialis medicine, and now, rather than coming down from a catnip high, as it's supposed to do, she now has mind powers.
It makes escaping through the Underground Railroad a lot easier.
Oh, yeah, because she can just float, and she can...
and whenever somebody is, like, bothering her, she just kind of like turns them around or distracts them with a little bit of, like, pretty lights or little imaginary fluff balls on a string, which is like still a massive.
I especially like the bit where she figured that she had like Superman laser beams from her eyes.
Yes.
Now, if you want to distract a team of cats, all you need to do is just...
Yeah, it's not even Cyclops style. It's just low light powered lasers and go like, ooh, what's this?
Now, of course, it made it hard for her to see where she was going, but she sort of floated backward, and Rajah took care of sort of feeling around with his whiskers.
Like you just make him run into a wall, and then it's a great way to knock him out.
Yeah.
It turns into a bit of almost a Benny Hill type sketch where they're running around alleyways and in through doors, out the others, and being chased.
Eventually, she makes it out into the desert, where she meets up with Kamagar and Viagra again,
who somehow made their way out. Like, oh yes, we took the easy route. It's like one of the when you're in those videos games, like when you meet some person and you take a beeline for the next objective, and you pretty much run there,
fucking
and
book
then
it.
And you're there, and then the other person said, "Look, how the hell did you get here before me?"
It's like Frank Drebin from Police Squad. My boss was already on the scene.
Yes.
I don't do a very good American accent, do I?
No, well, sometimes it's better than others.
So finally, when they escape the sand tapeworm, Viagra and Kamagar, they're met Sildena Phil.
Sildena Phil. Yes.
Yeah, you get it.
I caught on to this after Viagra showed up.
They make it to the old.
My interest was roused.
Ruins. Yeah, you suddenly stood straight up.
Yes.
I noticed. They make it to the a human settlement that the Tigers abandoned after they overthrew their slave masters, where they can reactivate the genie AI, the computer that used to run this city.
Showing up in the books we're reading recently, isn't
and
there?
They're all fucking assholes. I mean, this one's a real dipshit.
Yeah, there seems to be like a thing with them.
Great singing voice, but hearing the stories that she told them about how she arrived here, she told them about a magical being with immense power that speaks with a voice that seems to be coming from everywhere in the room. Well, they recognized that from the ruins of this unnamed city whose name was burned with the rest of it, that was once connected to the rest of the solar system through interplanetary tubes.
Yes.
It was such a weird book.
Seems like more of a ferret thing than a tiger thing.
It makes you wonder what other species, former slave masters, subjugated.
They come there and they consult the oracle, and the oracle asks how did you come here? How did you arrive here? It's like, we use the wishing ring, and genie goes like, oh yeah, I know those. Those are like 3-dimensional manifestations of our intellect in other dimensions. Because one reality 7th dimension is another reality's 1st through 3rd.
And vast multidimensional superstructures can be enfolded into. You can have all the knowledge of the entire universe in one itty bitty container.
Yeah, and she goes it's only good for one wish, and he goes it's only good for one wish for you. And then he goes oh well, if I could just give this ring over to Rajah here, and then
who now has dexterous fingers
which he can slip them on, and he can the whole ring rubbing happens and works, and a little spit shine on the ring, and he Rajah managed to wish them back to the way it was before.
I was so impressed that even though both the genie AI and the jinn, of course, I mean the jinn is a malevolent spirit in the original stories and in the Arabic mythology.
I don't know. Sometimes
it's certainly misanthropic.
Well, yes, but they also respond very well to how they're treated. I mean, you see the jinn in Small Gods. That's quite a different kind of encounter that we have there. It's I'm
American
sure that
Gods. Yeah. I just agreed with you. Small Gods is the Terry Pratchett book. American Gods is the Neil Gaiman.
Shares a lot of similar themes, that gods need to be worshipped to have power. And there's lots of gods all over there. But yes, especially Kamagar and Viagra would see eye to eye. So it brings them back to the palace gardens of Agrabah,
where Rajah now has this new form. I mean, it's kind of hard to see for most people because he still likes to curl up.
Yeah, if you crawl up on full fours, nobody's really going to notice, because he's only half transformed. He's got awfully long hind legs for a tiger, and go,
are you going to bother a tiger about his hind legs?
No. And he does convince Jasmine to plant a little corner of catnip in the garden.
Yeah,
so he can have a little roll around in that.
He
whenever
kept one
fancies
of those balls from the ball pit. I don't know exactly where he keeps that. Yeah, exactly. And he really is the hero of the story, isn't it? Because it's mostly his, the specificity of his wish.
Yeah.
It was a really long wish where I want my basket and I want my home, and I want it to be this season, and I want her to be there, and I want it all to be chill.
You forgot to mention then he turned back into his old form, although maybe he didn't want that. Maybe he kind of liked it the way it was.
That part didn't occur to him. I mean, but this is the nature of animals in general. They don't sort of project onto the future, and I think that's a very important theme, certainly of all the careful what you wish for stories.
Oh yes,
don't project too much onto the future because your projections are probably imprecise.
The whole monkey paw thing.
Yeah. So having that resolved by the teaching of someone with a clear mind. Rajah is a clear-minded individual, and hopefully the people in Neo Agrabah have something to learn from him as well.
Yes.
Did you have a favorite scene?
I think it was the ball pit scene. It's the opium den for catnip tigers. Although it's of course it's self-limiting, since the receptors They don't burn out, but they kind of like they get saturated for a while, and like it doesn't work again for another like half a day or a whole day or something like that.
No, but you can take some Cialis to take you down from the high, and then you're good to go again.
Well, then it becomes a problem. But as long as you like nature take its course, it's not all bad.
So, how are we going to rate this book?
Yes,
we never got around to the droidecahedrons and what they do, so maybe we rate it out of 12.
Rate it out of 12. Okay,
because that's a dodeca. A dodecahedron is a 12-sided.
Totally. That's going to be easy. I would give it a solid 9.
A solid 9, yeah. I think that Kamagra and Viagra, they gave each other a solid 9 as well.
Well, there was definitely that.
When it comes to gentlemen like ourselves, what we call a solid 9 is really more of an honest 6 most of the time.
Oh, there's that, yes. I mean, you know the old jokes, like why are women so bad at parking?
I don't know.
It's because men lie about what 6 inches is.
Yeah. What do we have in store for our readers next week?
Right. Next week is a lovely anthology. It's a collection of short stories, and it's called The Lull Before Dorking.
Well, covers it. Thank you for joining us at Cover My Ass, where baffling books are reviewed but not read by yours truly. My name is Khaki.
And I'm Kay. And remember, we only judge a book by its cover.
I really want to be in that moment now.
Oh, yeah.
I really want to just run around and say, oh,